Welcome back to Planting Life Matters. Today I want to talk about a Kaleidoscope Abelia shrub. This great shrub will have winter interest all year long because of the bright foliage that it has with the chartreuse color, a little lime, and almost variegated as well with a darker green with these light edgings around the sides. But it also has a bronzy color that is on the tips whenever it has new growth. Now, I'm going to be placing mine in pots. It grows in the ground anywhere from 2.5 feet tall to 3.5 feet wide. Probably a little smaller if I keep them in a pot, but that's okay. I am going to do that so I can move them around into different locations and go out and pick you up one. It's a really great shrub to have, like I said, for all year long. So the first thing I'm going to do is take these out of the pot, and sometimes when you get shrubs or any plant, they can be root bound and stuck in the pot pretty tight. I like to lay mine on the side and just kind of roll them, and that loosens them up. And now I should be able to pull this right out, okay? Now these did get rained on last night, so they're pretty loose. In fact, some of the dirt is falling off in there. That's okay, no big deal, because I have all of the root ball. You can see the roots are intact. I'm not worried about the fact that a lot of that dropped. I already have some potting soil that has been amended with some nutritional ingredients to go in my pots. I'm not going to worry about putting a lot of fertilizer in this late in the season. Biotone is a really good one, though. I like to pop in no matter what time it is when time of the year when I'm putting in some shrubs into a pot, though, to make sure it gets enough nutrition. So Maddie, my granddaughter, is helping me out today again. So if you want to get in there really good, and notice that I'm not burying this root ball to where I'm gonna, in other words, cover it up like that. I'm not gonna do that. Just gonna have enough around the sides, and I want to leave that level the way you buy it in the pot. When you have that exposure there, you want to make sure that it is the same exposure on top, so it doesn't have too much covering it up. It's just a happier shrub that way. And so if I need to come back in and put a little bit more around the sides, that's fine, especially if I wanted to tuck in some other plant. I'm not going to do that in this case, but that's it. So I got enough in. The last step I would do is really just water these in now, and that's all it is to it. Today I am lucky to have my granddaughter Madison. Say hi, Maddie.
Hi.
Maddie is really great about helping me to keep things deadheaded, particularly my mums this time of year. I love buying mums every year, and when I leave them in the pots, they don't do so great, but when I plant them in the ground, they do so much better. And what's really helpful is when you go in and deadhead all the ugly off of it, and that does help to encourage new growth and new blooms. So we try to do that, as we go throughout the fall. And you can see some new buds. Let me get really close there. Hold on. If I get to right. And, well, girl, you almost got my finger. Never mind. So there are new buds coming in. Maybe this is a better example away from her on this one. And so that's what we're going to be doing, is going through and just deadheading some items today. So that's Maddie's handiwork, where she came in and deadheaded all of the mums. And just, I wanted to swing back to this topic because even though that doesn't look really great in this moment, they will bud up again. And these are the smaller mums that I put in. But I want to show you what happens when you put them in the ground versus leaving them in the pot. This is a mum that was placed in the ground 3 years ago, maybe longer, and it started out really tiny, but I get blooms even through the summertime. They seem to handle the heat really well here in zone 8A, and they look like little tiny shrubs when there are no flowers. And then this one is full of buds waiting to bloom. And so the cooler the temperatures get, as long as it has pretty good sun, about 4 to 6 hours per day, you'll get some blooms and repeat. So that's why I plant my mums in the ground. But this one here is why I really do it. That's another one from just a few years ago, and it is full of blooms. And the cooler it gets, the more blooms I get. And this one actually doesn't get quite as much sun. It's under a tree. But it still gets probably about 4 hours of sun during the middle of the day. But I had to come back and show where she cleaned these up and took off some of the deadheads, and this is what you get. So thank you, Madison. So now that I've popped that Kaleidoscope Abelia into a pot, I had previously mentioned that I could add some other plants around the side of it. I wasn't going to do it to that one, but this is an example of a winter green shrub that has been in this pot for about 2 seasons now. And because it doesn't take up all of the pot just yet, you know, I'm able to pop some coleus in there around it, and it does just fine having the extra flowers in. It lives just fine through the winter. It didn't seem to mind the extra cold temperatures in this pot. And I say that because this isn't necessarily a concrete pot that is frost proof, but it is a really pretty good pot that it's in, that I actually picked up from, I want to say Home Depot, for about 16 bucks. It's a size 16-inch wide, I believe, maybe 20 inches. That's pretty good. And it also has a reservoir at the bottom where it holds the water, so it's self-watering as well. That's even better for that price. So here's another one where it's not as full as the other, but same concept. It has the coleus, a couple of annuals popped in there until those die after the first freeze. Some Dusty Miller on the side, that will last through the freeze. And even though that's a bare spot right there, what I'm planning to do is put some ornamental cabbage and pansies in here as soon as these die off, probably in the next week or two. So that is part of planting in pots, in containers. And you see that little opening space? I could pop some pansies in there just until that shrub starts to fill out. Eventually it will fill in that entire space. Jackson, what do you think we should get?
Red.
You like the red or purple or yellow pansies?
Red.
So here's some red. I like the red, Jackson.
Where's the red one?
Which color? Whatever color you pick up is the ones we're gonna get.
Red and green.
I don't want those colors. I don't know why you tell kids that. I think I have just found the largest hanging basket I've ever seen in my life. Look at that. That is incredible. Jackson, look above your head.
Oh,
Look
no.
up. Look up there. Isn't that beautiful? Wow. I cannot explain how large this is. I would say it's at least 4 feet tall. And this is a bougainvillea. And I would say it's at least 5-6 feet wide. Incredible. Okay, we made it back. Jackson and I picked out some pansies. We picked up some rosemary. We picked up some Dusty Miller. And I'm really, really excited about this plant here, which is a Salvia argentea. Salvia argentea. Okay, I've never grown this before, but I find it so interesting that it looks so much like and feels like lamb's ear, but that's not what it is. And the fact that it's going to get really large, I say really large, I believe it's set up to 2 feet, 1 to 3 feet in height, and it will put off a really tall flower as well. So that is a perennial. I'm sure it will probably die back in the winter time, but that's okay. It's a perennial. Right now, I try not to spend so much on buying annuals, but it's hard not to buy annuals. You gotta have a little color. So I only picked up 24 pansies. That's it. I had been popping pansies around for the last couple of weeks in different pots, and I did this so I could add these in some pots. I was talking to a guy at a local nursery about 2 weeks ago. Where'd it go? And this is called Cool Wave Trailing Pansy. I thought I would try one in a pot just to see how it does. And since I've never tried these before, let's see how far it doesn't say how long it trails, but we'll give it a run. Oh wait, 5 to 8 inches, and it will spread 24 to 30 inches. That's pretty good, 24 to 30 inches. So I'm going to put this in a pot most likely. I think I'm gonna go back and get a couple more and let them kind of trail over a hanging basket. Now that I have it home and have that idea, that means I have to go back and get some more. So that's it for the moment. I got some potting soil that I'm going to pop some new items in another planter here in a minute, because I have one more Abelia that I need to get into a pot and remove a mum that's not doing so hot. And so that's it for right now. Let me get started on that.
Play with a world.
Okay, so I put one of these in the other pot earlier, and I put a little bit more soil than I did the other one. Maddie, can you see? Right, come around here some. You know, I said not to bury the root ball too deep because the shrubs are not happy when you bury that top part there. Just leave some room for air flow to make sure it gets through there. But I put a little bit more soil than I did on the other one earlier, because I decided, since this shrub is not going to grow that fast just yet, just for right now with winter interest, I'm going to pop in a couple of pansies. I'll grab another one in a minute. And I like to kind of break up my roots somewhat. That one's not too bad. It's not too root bound. I'm going to pop this in there too. And oops. And then I'll put another, I gotta go grab another pansy to put on this side. This will get pretty large. And all right, so got another one that I'm gonna pop in. I'm not gonna do it all the way around, just from the front view, street view. And then those will get thicker and fill out, and then the cabbage will get large as well. And then we'll just use the shrub right now as our centerpiece, or what we call our thriller. And these are just filler items. And I'm gonna do the same thing in the other pot that I did earlier with the cabbage and a couple of the burgundy. I figured this burgundy, oh my gosh, look at that up against that green. That's really pretty. So as those start to grow, it will look really, really good. All right, so let me move on to the next one. I am going to, earlier when I put this in here, I thought I could leave it without, I thought I could leave it with that bare spot. It is not totally centered. That's okay, no big deal. This is gonna fill out eventually. But because I have a little bit of room left, I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing that I did to the other one over there, just to kind of fill this in. That way it's full on that side, and then I have this pretty here on this side. This plant here, I'll probably throw that in. I have a volunteer tree that's in there. I think I'm gonna get rid of it. It's bothering me. So I'll do that. This will die off, and the coleus will die off as well real soon. So as it does, I have pansies and more cabbage that I'll just pop in the back. So I'm gonna put these in here really quick.
Just look.
Okay, so that will fill in as it gets thicker. That will be really pretty. And that is it. He doesn't like the sound. So you want to hold it and try it yourself? Okay, let go. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Yeah, you did it though. You did it. Alright, you did it, Papa. Yes, you did it. Alright, thank you. Okay, so I'm getting ready to wrap this up because I have a few pansies that I'm going to pop in that Jordan, I always mix up my grandbabies. Jackson and I picked out today. And after I get these in, I have a couple of shrubs that died from the heat stress and from poor irrigation right here in this area. So this is temporary. These will be okay for the winter. I'm not worried about irrigation so much now. But the reason why I have chosen to go with the succulents in this area, this is a Munstead stone crop, Munstead red stone crop. They start out really thick leaves. I put these in about 2 weeks ago. These came in maybe 2 months ago. So the green is starting to die off a little, but this will come back. It's a perennial, beautiful color. It changes from pink to a dark bronze and red. And then when it starts to die off, it looks more like this. This is an older one. These just came in. So as I walk around, Maddie, come look at these. I'm making a border of them because I don't get a lot of great water irrigation in this area. So they will be very happy because they do not want a lot of water. So I'm going to pull out what's dying, which is a couple of Japanese boxwoods. I might can actually save that one, but I don't know. I'll pull those out. But in this area, I'm going to come back and put 200 bulbs in. That's going to be a mixture of daffodils and tulips. So it'll be a really full, compact little bed here. And this was my oops bed. So this bed started because I had 4 yards of decomposed granite and 4 yards of compost delivered to my driveway. And it was dumped in the driveway. I used it up making pathways, but I had a little bit left over. So my HOA was not very happy with me because I didn't move it timely, but I got sick, and so it sat there longer than it should have. So I was getting all the threatening, emails and letters. I decided, okay, great, I'll come out here and scoot it out of the driveway, pushed it over, and that's how this bed formed. And I had some leftover stone, just threw that stone around and started popping plants in. And voila, here we are. So I've been trying to figure out what to do with this bed for a while, but that's where we are. So I'm gonna wrap up here, finish popping in these last bit of pansies. Thank you guys so much for watching today. And remember, planting life matters.